Well, when we talk about it being a unique trade lane, when we think about Puerto Rico and the Caribbean, definitely one of the differentiators is that it is a Jones Act trade lane. Yeah. And so, Mitch, could I ask you to help define the Jones Act for somebody who doesn't know, like what it is, what does that lane look like?
To simplify it as much as I can is the Jones Act. Any movement between any U.S. port to U.S. port must have a U.S. built vessel or a barge of some kind. It must have, if for us, for tugs, U.S. built tug, and then it has to have U.S. crew on it. And it's I think it was 1920 the Jones Act was put into place, and it was really for, honestly, for war purposes, to allow the U.S. to be able to, in the event of war, to secure equipment, and also to help the shipyards, our own shipyards here in the U.S. Unfortunately, over the last 5 years, the shipyards are not getting a whole lot of business. There's not a lot of investment into the Jones Act. But there still is investment, and there's still a lot of equipment out there. And so to move anything, and out of Jacksonville, still 50+% of the product out of Jacksport being exported is Puerto Rico, is Jones Act. And so the Jones Act has always been an interesting topic for Puerto Rico. I think there's always been this belief that product is more expensive because of it, and it's actually the contrary. Because when international rates went from $3,000 for a 40-foot container to $20,000 from a shipment from the Pacific Rim to Puerto Rico, our rates went up, I don't know, 2%, not even 2%. And we don't play in the game. There's more security in it, and for the consumer, and we don't play in that rate game because everything ultimately gets passed down to the consumer. Yeah. We've seen this with the tariffs over the last 6 months, and the consumer's paying for it. So the Jones Act actually has a security blanket to the consumer on pricing, and we're not just going to jack up prices. None of us did that, and I think it's a good thing for Puerto Rico. It's a good thing. Movements on the inner rivers of the United States, and those have to be Jones Act as well. And so it protects U.S. jobs, it protects U.S. shipyards, and it protects the consumer and making sure that pricing just doesn't get out of hand.